Okay, guys, we're going to do Daniel chapter 7, a full breakdown. What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to look at Daniel chapter 7. It is one vision, and we're going to look at it in light of the book of Revelation. We'll see that everything in Daniel 7 is in the book of Revelation. And we're going to go over this interpretation, and this is quite amazing. Everything is going to piece together so nicely. So let's get right into it. The first thing we have is, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions in his head upon his bed, and he wrote the dream in the sum of the matters. So this is on Daniel chapter 7, and Daniel chapter 7 is one vision. Okay, there are other visions that Daniel has, but predominantly the main four prophets that have visions of prophecy are Daniel, Zechariah, Ezekiel, and the Apostle John. Now, as we get into this, guys, it's very important that you understand everything must not have isolated interpretation. What that means is everything we're going to go over in terms of interpretation is going to be elsewhere in the scriptures testifying to the same thing. So, the first thing Daniel says is, he spake, he saw in my vision by night, behold, 4 winds of the heaven. Now, if we read that in Aramaic or in Hebrew, this would be Arba, Ruach, Shamayim. Now, the word winds is the same words for spirits. Okay, so this could also read 4 spirits of the heavens. Okay, and they strove upon the great sea. Now, one of the places, hopefully we can get this, you can see this in the video. Even if it's not real clear, guys, this is Zechariah 6:4. And Zechariah said unto the angel that talked with me, who are these? And he sees 4 chariot riders. And the angel answered and said unto me, these are the 4 spirits of the heaven. So here we have their title. This is the same thing we see here in Daniel 7, the Arba, Ruach, Shamayim, the 4 spirits or winds, Ruach, of heaven. Okay, so that's their title. That's their name. Now, you see red, white, black, and speckled horses in Zechariah 6 and in Zechariah chapter 1. But in Revelation, they are horse riders. So in Zechariah 1 and Revelation 6, they are horse riders. So that's who these are. They are 4 generals. Okay? And they strove upon the great sea. Now, in the book of Revelation, what happens, the procedure is when the Lamb opens the seal, there are 4 beasts. Okay, there's 4 beasts. Those 4 beasts are a lion, ox, man, and an eagle. Okay, so those are the pattern of 4 beasts around the throne. Now, what happened is each beast opens a seal and says to John, come and see. And John says, behold, I see a horse, one white, red, black, and pale. Okay, now they also, here the 4 spirits of the heavens also open up the false beasts. Okay, and then verse 3 says, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. Now these are not the 4 beasts around the throne. These are the pseudo beasts, false beasts. Okay, just like you have an antichrist, you also have anti-beasts. Okay, so here are the 4 beasts. Now, the first was like a lion. It had eagle's wings, and I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made to stand on his feet. Now, we can see later on that, verse 17, these great beasts which are 4 kings, which shall rise out of the earth. That's the interpretation of these 4. So these would be beasts. And these beasts would be actual kings. They would be actual people. And one of the places we can find the interpretation of them, there's several places, guys, but one of them is in Isaiah 11:6. I want to read a little bit of this for each one of these beasts because we can find out more information here and in Revelation 13. Okay, so the first one is a lion, and I want you to notice here it says, a lion shall eat straw like an ox. Now, this parable in Isaiah 11 has to do with these beasts. Now, this one is telling us about Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, Nebuchadnezzar was made to eat straw like an ox. Okay, so when it says the lion shall eat straw like an ox, that's telling us about Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, and then we see here the Nebuchadnezzar was on 4 legs eating grass like an ox. But here you can see the lion is made to stand upon his feet like a man. That means he also was on 4 legs. And a man's heart was given to it. And again, Nebuchadnezzar, he was given the heart of an ox. Okay? And for 7 years. So the person that is this king, which is Donald Trump, he's going to have his wings plucked. In Revelation, it says he's going to continue for a short space, and a man's heart was given unto it. So he's going to have a humbling experience like Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar's experience was 7 years, 7 times. Okay, so he is the lion. Okay, and again, let's look at Revelation 13. It also talks about these beasts. Okay, I don't know how well it's coming out for you to see, but I stood upon the sand of the sea, Revelation 13. I saw a beast rise out from the sea with 7 heads and 10 horns. Upon his 10 horns, 10 crowns, with the name of blasphemy. The beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were like unto a bear, and his mouth was a mouth of a lion. Okay, so Donald Trump is part of this beast. Okay, and his mouth is the mouth of a lion. Okay, and the dragon gave him his power. So here are the 4 beasts right here. We have a leopard, we have a bear, we have a lion, and a dragon. Okay, and we're gonna, get more into Revelation 13 later. But again, all these things are perfect parallels. Okay, so then that brings us to verse 5. And I beheld another beast, a second like unto a bear, and it raised up on itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said, the ribs said, arise, devour much flesh. Okay, so now we have the bear. Now the bear, we find also in Isaiah 11, where it says, where is it? And the cow and the bear shall feed. Okay, so the bear is going to feed. And you can see it says here, arise, devour much flesh. Okay, and so this is Vladimir Putin. Okay, so Vladimir Putin is the bear. He's the king that represents the bear. Now we know that Russia represents the bear, but you can see that it has 3 ribs in its mouth that are talking. Okay, so this represents the kings of the east. And Revelation says the river Euphrates is going to be dried up for the kings of the east. Okay, so these are 3 ribs, and these ribs talk. Now we would conclude that these ribs would be Russia, they would be China, and Iran. So these would represent the kings of the east. Now keep in mind, these beasts are not all friendly with each other. They are all at odds one with another. Okay, so there we will conclude that the lion may be at war with the bear. Okay, and the bear will be at war with both the lion and the leopard. And after this, verse 6, after this I beheld another like a leopard, which had upon the back 4 wings of a bird. And the beast had 4 heads, and its dominion was given to it. Now, the leopard is Obama, okay? And the 4 wings and 4 heads relate to the 4 notable ones. That's in Daniel chapter 8. Guys, at another point, I'll have to do a breakdown on Daniel chapter 8. But this one is just Daniel chapter 7. So this is the leopard. Now, if we look here again, we can see that in Isaiah 11, okay, it says, the leopard shall lay down with the kid. Now that is telling us about Daniel 8, because the kid is a goat, okay? And in Daniel chapter 8, it's the goat against the goat against the ram. All right, so that is Obama. Obama is the leopard. And I have another video on that too. I'll put a link in the description field. I've already covered Obama, the leopard. I've already covered Trump, the lion. I have not covered Putin. This is basically In this video, we're talking about that. Now, it's important that we understand these 4 kings would arise, at a certain time. And that's the time we're in now, okay? But then we come to a 4th. Now, we come to the 4th, the big misunderstanding that people have is that Obama is the Antichrist, and he's not. He's clearly a separate beast, and then there's a 4th beast, which is a terrible beast, which is the son of perdition. And after this I saw in the night vision, behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly, and had great iron teeth, and it devoured and broke in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and diverse from all the other beasts that were before it. So the other beasts are before this, right? Remember, these are the 3, and then he's the 4th. And it had 10 horns. And I considered the horns and beheld, and there came up among them a little horn, and before whom there were 3 first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, this horn were speaking. In this horn were eyes of the eyes of a man, and the mouth speaking great things. Okay, so in Daniel chapter 7, guys, there's a little horn that comes up from the 10 horns. Okay, in Daniel chapter 8, there's also a little horn. And that little horn comes up from 4 notable ones. This little horn is not the same as this little horn. In English, you might say, oh, little horn, it's the same one. In Hebrew, there are different words for little, okay? And that is actually telling us they are 2 different people, okay? So, let's keep going. Mouth speaking great things. In verse 9, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and his hair his head like pure wool, and his throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels a burning fire. Now, this here we can see in Revelation chapter 1. Revelation chapter 1, I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, the Lord, which is, which was, which is to come, the Almighty, like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to the foot, who's girt with the paps like a golden girdlet. His head and hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes as flame of fire. So that's the same description that we see here. I beheld one, and the Ancient of Days did sit. Now, here you can see Son of Man, here you can see Ancient of Days. You say Ancient of Days is the Father, Son of Man is the Son. But remember, the Son of Man and the Son and the Father are one. And Ancient Days here is a title. So what happens is when you see that description in Revelation 1, the Lord is sitting, Lord Jesus said the Son of Man would come in the glory of the Father. So what we're seeing here in Daniel 7:9 is the Son of Man in the glory of the Ancient of Days. He who was, who is to come, the Almighty. And he did sit, whose garment was white like wool, and his hair is like pure wool. So this is his throne, his glory. Now it says here, his wheels as a burning fire. Now the wheels here relate to the throne and setting in Ezekiel chapter 1. In Ezekiel chapter 1, you can see the wheels, okay? It gives us a description of the cherubim in vivid detail. Definitely read that, it's amazing. Okay, but it's a throne. Now, verse 10. A fiery stream issued that came forth before him. Then it says, thousands ministered unto him. Okay? Now, thousands ministered unto him. This is Revelation 5:11. Revelation 5:11. Behold, I heard many angels round about the throne, and the beasts, and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000. 10,000 and thousands of thousands. Okay? So that setting in Revelation 5 is likened unto this one, thousands and thousands ministered to him, okay? Then it says in Daniel 7:10, 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, and the judgment was set, and the books were open. Now this is what we see in Revelation 20:11. I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, and from whose face the whole of heaven, the earth and heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open. And another book was opened, which was the book of life, and the dead were judged out of those things which are written in the books according to their works. So this is what is being described here, okay? And then after this, I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. Now in verse 11, it's talking about this horn again, all right? And I beheld till the beast was slain and the body was destroyed and given to the burning flame. Now this is Revelation 19 when the beast is destroyed, okay? And the rest of the beasts had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season, okay? So there's a certain point by which these other beasts, how this works, guys, is these beasts they're principalities and powers. So these are actual spirits or entities. This is what we're getting the description of what they look like here. So, but they influence kings. Okay, so they actually influence, people, and we can see they're the people on the scene. It said you would see 4 kings. So we should be looking for these 4 kings, and we can find those that meet the description in our day. Okay, but you have the spirit, and then you have the person. Okay, so this spirit or this principality is influencing that person. All right. And all these guys should be giving us indications of what the son of perdition is going to be like, because he's going to be, diverse from them. But these guys are kind of forerunners. Okay. All right. Now, verse 13, and I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him before him. Now, we saw that the Ancient of Days is the Alpha and Omega. Okay, he's in the title or in the glory of the Ancient of Days. We saw that. So now we have another person that's a Son of Man. Now, this here is a perfect description of Revelation 12. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule the nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up, harpazo, unto God and to his throne. Okay, so that's exactly what we see here. I saw in the night visions, behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Okay, so the Son of Man here is the man-child that the woman births. Okay, and then it says, there was given to him dominion and glory and a kingdom, and all the people and nations and language should serve him. And his dominion is everlasting dominion, which should not pass away. And his kingdom is that which shall not be destroyed. Okay, so this is the man-child here. Okay, we can see that clearly in Revelation 12, verse 5, because it says, the woman brought forth a man-child to rule the nations. Here we can see ruling nations, dominion over all tribe, kindred, and tongue. Okay, and in addition to this, let's just jump down here real quick to verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever. Okay, so these saints here are those of Revelation 12. Verse 5, the man-child, okay? All right, verse 15, and I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. And I came near to one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of this. And so he told me and made me know the interpretation of these things. So he gets an interpretation from either a saint or an angel about what these things are. Okay, let's try and keep this in the light here, guys. There we go. I'm going to have to kind of hold it. It's a little difficult trying to keep this to where you guys could see it. And the sun is moving. Sun stands still. Okay. These great beasts which are 4, which we read before, shall arise out of the earth. So these 4 beasts are 4 kings. All right, we went over that. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess it forever. So that is what we saw in verses 13 and 14. Okay. Then let's keep going. And then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, and devoured and broke in pieces, and stamped the residue of the people. And of the 10 horns, which were on his head, and the others which came up before, which fell, even that horn, which had eyes and a mouth, that spoke great things. Okay, let's remember that there's also going to be 10 horns, guys. There's going to be 10 horns, and 10 horns are another 10 kings, okay, which shall also rise up. So that's the other thing that we're watching to come on the scene. They're not here yet, but the 4 are. Okay, now let's go back to our notes here. Now this description of the beast, what I want to do is I want to read a little bit of Revelation 13. Revelation 13, it says, I saw one of the heads of it, and it was wounded and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave its power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given to him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him 42 months. Okay, so here you can see a mouth speaking great things. This is the same little horn that we see in Daniel 7. Mouth speaking great things, and 42 months. Now, you can see here it's 42 months, but there's also a time period that the saints must endure. All right? We're going to get into that in a minute. And he opened his mouth and to God and to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those that dwell in heaven. And it was given to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power is given to him over all kindred and tongues and nations, and all that dwell on the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the Lamb's book of life. Okay, so now that description we can see here in Daniel chapter 7, because what it says here, I beheld that same little horn, the little horn at Daniel 7, I beheld the same little horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. That's exactly what we see in Revelation. Until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was set. Okay, so what's going to happen is there's another proceeding by which the judgment will sit, the Ancient of Days will sit, and then something else will happen. Okay, but we can clearly see that there's two sections of saints. There are those that, at this point in verse 18, possess the kingdom. That's in Revelation 12. But then there's another set that go to war, and the beast prevails against them. And those are the ones that are slain by the beast and overcome by them that we saw in Revelation 13. Okay? And as well, we're in Daniel 7. In Revelation 7, we also see these two groups of people. We see the 144,000, and we see the great multitude, which came out of the great tribulation. Okay? So clearly in Daniel 7, when it says saints, we must determine which legal proceeding is taking place. All right. Okay, I'm struggling with the light here, guys, but let's try and get it so it looks good so you can see. Okay. And it was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possess the kingdom. Okay, so now we're seeing the saints possess the kingdom. Okay, but they already possess the kingdom in verse 18. So how is that? Well, the reason for that is, like I said, there's two groups of people. There's the elect, and then there's a great multitude. Okay, but let's keep going. Verse 23. Thus the four beasts shall be four kingdoms upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all of the kingdoms, devour the whole earth, and tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings, which shall rise, and another shall rise after them, be diverse from the first, and shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great things against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they should be given into his hand a times, and a dividing of time. Well, that's exactly what we saw in Revelation 13 with 42 months. So that's 3.5 years, and a times, and dividing a time is 3.5 years. A time is 1, times is 2, and dividing time is a half, so 3.5. But the judgment shall sit. Now we have another proceeding of the judgment sitting, and they shall take away his dominion. Okay, and consume and destroy unto the end. All right. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom and the whole heaven will be given unto the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion shall serve and obey him. Okay. And again, we have this here in Revelation 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat on them, and judgment was given to them. And I saw the souls of them which were beheaded for the witness of Jesus. Those are the ones overcome by the beast. For the word of God, which had not overcome the beast, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither received his mark upon their heads and upon their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Okay, so that's exactly what we see here. The kingdom and dominion and greatness of the kingdom and the whole heaven given to the people of the saints of the Most High. Here unto the end of the matter for me, Daniel, my cogitations were troubled me, and my countenance was changed, but I kept the matter in my heart. Okay, so guys, there we have it. We have 4 beasts which will rise up: a lion, bear, leopard, terrible beast. Okay, we have the Ancient of Days sitting. Okay, that's the Day of Atonement when the man-child is harpazo unto the throne. Okay, we have these, the man-child receiving the rod of iron. Okay, we have this little horn who is not yet revealed. Okay, and this horn will make war against the saints and wear out the saints of the Most High. So guys, thanks for watching. I'll put links. I've already gone over much about these 4 beasts. There's another video, this one here, on the 4 beasts is really good. Please watch that. Because we go through the breakdown of gold, silver, bronze, and iron. As well, we have these 4 beasts, okay? All right, so thanks for watching. Watch and pray that you be counted worthy to escape all these things in Yeshua's name. Amen.